This is lesson 81B in Algebra 1, continuing on with graphing solutions. And let's look at y equals x plus 2. This is example 81.4. And we have y equals x minus 1. So again, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. It's good to get used to using that because you're going to be using it a lot. And we're going to use that with y equals x plus 2 since it's already in that form. In fact, there's really a 1 there, so that's my m. So we're going to start out with our positive 2. So we're going to put our point on y is positive 2. And then we're going to write that our slope, 1, as 1 over 1, always is a fraction, and that's y over x. So that tells me that from my y-intercept, I'm going to go up 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1, so that gives me a point right there. So I can draw my line. It's supposed to go through those 2 points. Alright, now let's look at the second one. Let's look at this one. So again, we're using y equals mx plus b. Okay, so y equals 1x minus 1, because I put a 1 in front of there. So my y-intercept is negative 1. Well, negative 1 is right there. And then I go from there. 1 can be written as a fraction, and that's my y over x. So I go up 1 over 1. So up 1 over 1 is right there, and when I draw my line, again, I get a parallel line. So therefore, the answer is the null set. Alright. So again, that means that there is no solution. There is no common solution here. These lines do not cross each other. Alright, so let's continue on. So we're going to jump to example 81.5 where we have y minus x equals 2 and 2y minus 2x equals 4. Alright, neither one of these are in y equals mx plus b form. We can make them that way, they're just not in that form yet. So let's look at the first one. What is the problem there? Why isn't it not in y equals mx plus b? Well, the y isn't by itself. Well, how do I get y by itself? I add x to both sides because this is a minus x. So that would change this to, and lo and behold, it's in y slope-intercept form. Okay, I've got an x and I've got a b there, a number all by itself, and a number in front of the x, which is 1, so I can graph that. So, again, I look at my y-intercept, it's 2, and my slope is 1, make it a fraction, and that is y over x, so that tells me to go up 1 over 1. So it gives me this line right there. Golly, I'm getting good at making lines. Alright, let's look at the second equation. 2y minus 2x equals 4. I want to get it in y equals mx plus b form, right? That's a 4. Doesn't look like a 4. Okay, that means I'm going to have to get the y by itself. So 2y equals 2x plus 4. Notice I put the 2x first. It has to be first in order to be in slope-intercept form. Now I divide by 2 and divide by 2. So I have y equals, and then you split these up. Okay, you can always do that when you have a plus or a minus sign. You can put that over 2 and then that over 2. So that gives me y equals 1x plus 2. So my y-intercept is at 2, so do that in blue. And it's on the same place the other one is. This is 1 over 1, which is my y over x, which means I go up 1 over 1. And lo and behold, my line is the same line. So when you have two equations like this here, and when you graph it, you have the same line, one line on top of the other, you have an infinite number of solutions, because what I'm interested in is at how many places do these two lines cross? Well, at every point along here they cross. So there's an infinite number of solutions here. And that's pretty much it for 81, lesson 81. Now I want you to look at the homework, and it says that in the practice problems you're supposed to solve by graphing, which is what I've been doing, and then that's all I want you to do for that, for A and B. For letter C, I don't want you to do anything for that. I want you to skip that. And then when you go down to 8 and 9, I want you to solve those by graphing, again, what we just did. And I also want you to skip number 10. Okay? So whenever it says to decide whether it is consistent or inconsistent or dependent, you can skip those problems. But the other ones, when it says solve by graphing, I want you to do those. And that'll be true as you continue on with your lessons. When you get into lesson like 82, you get into some like, let's see, number 14. I don't want you to do that one because it has the words consistent, inconsistent, and dependent in that. So just make sure you skip those in future lessons as well. And that's it for lesson number 81.